Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Sketchy Contract story playthrough. In between episodes, I decided to not stay on the side quarter. Instead, I turned in 2 or 3 quotas, I guess. Even we had a little bit barely above the burger shop, only a few percentage. But I did also brew 2 coffee and turn in a bunch of quotas, so we have 2,000 left, even though I restocked on the crates and refilled the shrink ray and stuff. But I think that should be nice, so if we are able to get a black market again, which I don't think if we have it right now, I think Port Glacier, where we will head to, is just... Oh, we don't have to buy them? Oh, interesting. Interesting. Oh, there would be a black market. Yeah. I guess that's due to they are... We can buy them free, right? I think because it's event planets, or there were event planets, they are just free to access. So I lost my brain there, I guess, in between. What do I want to say? If we get into a black market again, which we don't have over here, we would have enough quota to even get a better boombox and still be able to get a crate or stuff. I don't know if I do want anything else. Maybe an oxygen contamination purifier, right? That could be a thing. Yeah, also, yeah, I don't know. Okay. Now, we head on to Port Glacier. I just thought there for a second, the contamination purifier and all this contamination and air stuff. I'm really so curious about all these lore details, and I think it's a cool story around the robots, but there's so much more to the whole, the whole environmental stuff that I'm very, very curious about. And I do think still it's a little bit of a missed opportunity. Okay, nevertheless. Oh boy, yes, I always forget that there's so much crates on this planet. Really, really, this planet, I don't like it in terms of getting the code. It's so many things you have to look up, and it's really, really not nice. I think we will go straight through and circle back right around and then left around or stuff. I don't know. I think something like this would be the more ideal strat than to just go from front to back and not be able to get everything in our box here. These 2 I will take though, and they're greedy. Because when our crate is full, we can still go back and even are on the way back, right? So we don't have these long runways, which I usually have when I play solo, because I not very much think about it. But I think this should be very much more easy. I don't know if we should be able to get in there, right? This isn't a bugged run. Yeah, there we should be able to go in. And also we do have a snow beast, which we can first scan. And then we can fight it, because it should give us also a very large amount of quota. I should really do there the fire boost, so we just get a bit more damage in. Because it already takes so long to fight. It isn't really a threat though. But it gives a nice amount of credits. Okay. But yeah, something like the Snow Beast, for example. What do we have over here? Snow Beast. This giant predator is top of Crotho's food chain. It's so heavy that the vibration of the footsteps can be heard hundreds of feet out. For most creatures, but nothing more. Just accepting that there is Snow Beast around here. But it seemed to be natural, right? Not like these droids. Okay, so this one is bugged, right? Do we have a way in there? I don't think so. I will go around one more time. Oh, there's the entrance. Okay. I just thought so, because these globes usually are accessible. And we do have, in fact, so many mimics over here, right? This was also one. So... I really don't know if we will be able to get a story in the first playthrough here, just because getting the code is so much of a pain on this planet. At least the early code, the very first one. Never mind. I gladly take it. And yeah, that's very, very lucky, really, because like we do have so many crates over here, right? So the code works with a flat percentage, but we wasn't able to figure out yet in testing if it is a flat percentage for every planet equally, or if it is a calculated flat percentage, like 1 in whatever number of crates you get there. So it is more like a dice roll, yes. every time you open a crate, there can be something in it, so you always should consider going where many crates are, so you have just more of these dice rolls. But still, there's a chance where you don't get this low percentage, like it should be something around 10% if it is fixed, and even less if you have the mathematical ratio by chance, right? So 1 in whatever. But yeah, I sometimes just hit it on the very last crate because then it's forced to be in there, but for something like Fort Glacier, I am very, very happy that I don't have to rely on that, which you already see how many crates there are overall. Also here, right? Even in this area there are so many. There is a greed, there's a second greed. Come on. And that's all for a bread. I think I should start finally putting in everything else. Also in the box. Like this one and like this one. Okay, so little boombot. We do have in fact a subject 6 somewhere nearby. And another code. Crazy. That's so lucky there. So I will see if I can find an easy teleport gem. By going just another route back. But if not so, then I also just take the early code and leave area 1 for good. Okay. There's a very, very near subject 6, which we can also get. That's a nice thing. Or we can leave this one, right, and all these things out. I take already a second one. And an oxygen. And then I guess we will stress around a little bit by fighting the subject 6 over here and maybe also go back there for the second snow beast. Because 500 quotas. Just so much. We really shouldn't miss out on that. Do we have another over here somewhere? Doesn't seem like it. So then we just take the snow beast, right? Hello. Oh, also this tree over here, cool. I really don't want too much of derps or stuff fighting us. This could be a little bit of a threat. Or if a Nightwalker will just do a little bit of damage additionally. But it should be fine, right? Right? Okay. Nice! So first the dance up. And I do take a convenient screenshot over here. For my collection. And then I guess we can go already to tier 2. And work a little bit on the first few rooms. Okay, so let's go. And get everything going. Okay. So let's see what we do have over here. I think we will go first with the oxygen and try to place it in a good spot first. There's a koala outside. Of course. I really want to place it back there where we have the T-crossing. So I will fight through this mimic, I guess. And apparently through this mimic, then I really want to also touch the night substance over there. Gimme, gimme. So we do have 2 derps in there, but another night substance. I will try to lure this one here so we can fight it. And then I guess I will try to do the 2 night derpies. Oh, there's also Toxie, which could give me a real headache. Well, we do go back first, I guess, and then again in to recover our boombox. Alrighty. This is a touchy. And then we need oxygen first. Okay. So let's see if we can finally place our oxygen over here. There is a night walker, but we should be fine unless there isn't anything else over here. But one night walker we should be able to fight. Even around this oxygen. Nice. So there's a greed. Here I do the greed first, I guess. So that one is out of the way. Then I do just... Ooh. But no, that... Ooh, it is the teleporter. Interesting. Very, very interesting. So you really want to see if you do have a glowing spot there, I guess. So nothing in here. This one is a mimic. Which one mimic we can just fight fine. If it doesn't do this big move. But of course it does. Okay. So, what else? Here's code already, which is very, very nice. I have 2 crates. But nothing of a story point. We can go left. I guess there is a building back right. Okay, also nothing in there. Which I really thought maybe in this area here. Ooh, there it is. Okay. Okay, so let's see. Preserved in ice. Preserved in ice. Begin fragmented memory 8. Okay, so it's already completely the memory thing. Nothing of flavor text around it anymore. There's no one here, only intelligence. An AI that calls itself Sketchy. It told me of a game that it hosts. A game offering unfathomable rewards with unfathomable risk. A game so real that some might even consider it a reality of its own. I laughed, of course. A game is just a game in the end, isn't it? Not? But Sketchy, with its consistent smile, said it's so much more. Those who win can have almost everything they desire. Credits, health, young, fame, even a new body, if that's what they wish to have. Those who lose, however, well, they don't die. End fragmented memory 8. Okay, so we did read there about a game, and also a game involving like a new body. Maybe the skins are mentioned, but interesting. Very, very interesting stuff there. Also the first mentioning about Sketchy and AI. Crazy. Alright, so let's reconsider. And it goes for Darkwood, okay. Even a new body. But Sketchy is not the guy which hosted, right? So there are a little bit of skips in between. Well, okay. Sorry, I'm a little bit all over the place with my thoughts right now. Due to the fact that we never had a mentioning of an AI before, like the Sketchy thing, anywhere. And we also have a new entrance, like Sketchy in the database, even though we did not ever random bestiary here, down there, Sketchy. And different new subjects, which is just after the launch of the game. So, very interesting. This may or may not be then the final enemy in the game, I think. Most likely. And yeah, I'm really curious about this whole part of the new... Where's my weapon there? The whole part of the new... Where did I leave my weapon? Yeah, the whole part of of this game, which is more or less which we play right now, right? So the game will most likely be the Crota runs we do. And it being presented as a thing like a game, like in other games, for example, like a Squid Gamey thing or Welcome to the Game or stuff, is kind of interesting. I never thought that this whole contracts would be a game, right? So there isn't any purpose, which is a little bit of, I don't know how to feel about that, because I don't know if I am too happy about it revealed as a game after all, because I think it's very funny on the whole. It gets a little bit philosophic here, I know, but I think the whole game Sketchy Contract, right, throughout the early access, was so cool to explore with friends and goofing around and stuff, but I always felt like it's more meaningful and more dense in the way it presents itself with these fixed layout and stuff, so more of a lore potential than, for example, Lethal Company, where you also have some kind of environmental lore and stuff, and the different planets thingies, and also there is the whole thing where you give the loot to, but Sketchy Contract for me always felt a little bit more not fully fleshed out, right? So that there isn't any real purpose for collecting this other than to feed the beast, which kept you in there. But there was never an explanation why you do that in Sketchy Contract, and for me it always felt a little bit more reasonable why we collect all these things, especially since the addition of the burger shop, because I think Burger's Shop is just such a good mechanic, right? It just is so logical to collect things for the Burger Shop. Just this one thing, like collecting things for the Burger Shop, is such a cool addition to the game, and it feels more reasonable than any other addition I could thought of. But now, as it is presented more like a game, I don't know about that. Because why even play the game, right? Or, yeah, there was a bunch of rewards like a new body and youth and wealth and stuff, but what motivation as a player do I have to do it? Because for me personally, as a player, I always love to embrace with the world and the game, and even think hours in it to get something like environmental lore going. But I always was a bit frustrated when in Phasmophobia there was stated that there might be something ongoing with hallucination and stuff. Because there is a little bit of lore with Lilith and the girl from Lilith is a spider, but the girl, I called her Iris from Bleasdale since the new update, and I think the devs also said something like, hey, we will do a little bit more lore to connect all these different places, and Willow got now a rework, and there's a hitchhiking map and stuff, and yeah, and the map also in Camp Woodwind, where you, oh, not Camp Woodwind, but Camp Maple Lodge, where you had Port, what is it called? I don't know. The harbor place. Point Hope, that's the name. And yeah, I don't know about if someone would say, hey, Phasmophobia, you just hunt the ghosts as a game, I think there it would be even more so unfitting. But even here, it feels like, I don't know. I really don't like this kind of twist in the story, I guess. I think it might be just a personal opinion, but yeah, I don't know about this one. Because it now feels more like reaching a high score is a thing. And also, yeah, I guess the claw machine coins is now just the rewards of the game, but why? If it is rewards for a contract, so we freely signed up or even be forced and just as a alibi reward would be cool, but I don't know. I really don't know about this one. I may have to think about it a little bit more. Because I really liked some fourth wall breaks in the game with the story, like pointing out why you should, or why a robot should be given these rewards, right? Or that we already been here, like the roguelike aspect of the memory. And even someone in my group pointed out that maybe dying, as also not meeting quota, we don't die really, but our memory as a robot is wiped. So we try to reach consciousness again and get a reminder. Like, you have some stories where you forget everything every week or stuff, and then the protagonist starts writing down things that he can read up again, and it feels like a little bit like this, but oh, we can also go in here. Yeah, I really don't know. I think I have to need more time to clear my mind about it a little bit more and to see. Maybe I should also wait until the complete story is revealed, like we still have 3 entrances. Yeah, we should have 3 entrances about everything. And Maybe the game is only a alibi thing again. Like alibi, like the coins, right? That would be fine for me. It would be okay-ish to force the player first in and then, wahaha, you can't leave. But, Hmm. I don't know. We have to see, I guess. We just have to see how the next entrances are, right? If they give us more context about the game or not, so. Okay. So I'm very, very curious about the Woodridge, right? Because we now get... What? We never... I don't know if the Woodridge is just another case where then we completely skip over her. That would be sad. But I think it will be the case. I have to see. We just have to see how it went. And maybe we get a tryst after all that completely blows my mind and everything is good again. But right now I feel a little bit disappointed, to be honest, about the turn of the story. At least the turn it takes right now. Okay, so what do we have here? Because yeah, all these planets, I have to admit, all these planets feel staged. Some more than other, right? Like, come on, Port Jurassic feels like amusement park thing, right? But on the other hand, a worn down one, so... This one is not full yet. Okay, so the tech is really worth some credits, right? Crazy there. We really should not sleep on them. So we should come back and collect those. Of course, there's one thing, right? I do leave this one. And this one. This one. And even this one then, I guess. Of course. We can get back the loot. I may ask Halo about the story a little bit more. I don't know, maybe he's also open to explain a little bit more. I'm really curious about some things. Like, was the story always planned like it, or did he said, oh boy, now I'm near to full release and I have to put a story there because I want to put a story there, but I don't really know how I want to tell the story, in which direction and stuff. So I do it a little bit on the fly. Because right now it feels more like the last thing than the other thing. Like, okay, I had all these cool development and early access with the events and stuff I just did for fun. And now I'm stuck with a game where I need to connect all the dots, right? All the dots that went in completely different directions. I should also take a new crate. I'm really wondering if it is like this. Because if it is so, then I would rather had a little bit more environmental entrances, like the different planets, and a more flat story, kind of. Without... Now the story feels like it builds onto a twist or stuff. The whole thing, like, we are not a robot, builds on for a twist that doesn't really is a twist because it is so predictive. Like, yeah, I guess we will be turned... once was a human and then turned into a robot, right? I guess this is the overall thing here. So, yeah, sure. If it is already presented in the very, very first story entrance, then okay, sure. It gets to us over all the entrances and the memory thing, and it builds up to it, but from the very, very first entrance, it's more or less crystal clear. So, I don't really know if I do like not. Okay, but not to hate the story too much. I think it's cool to have a story compared to, for example, Lethal Company, right? Or Repo, where that's the exact thing for all these games, right? They feel like we do something just for the sake of doing it. And I was so happy about Sketchy Contract now get a story to get the collecting thing a purpose, which is different to all the other games like this. And then the story is, yeah, it's just a game. I think there must be some kind of twist why the game is beneficial for Sketchy, right? Why else should Sketchy give us all the credits and wealth and all the rewards, like a new body, or I think with a new body it's meant that we are a robot now, and yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. And if the purpose is just to maintain the burger shop, why? Why don't just get a contractor then and point out, hey, you're here to maintain the burger shop? I don't know, it feels so... It feels a little bit staged to me. Staged in the point that it wants to be a cool story with a nice twist in the end. Because everyone likes a nice twist in the end, right? But by doing so, it does itself more harm than good. I really like mechanics around it, with the memory points you collect, and then you can go from planet to planet and stuff. That's very, very cool. That's a really, really rewarding thing, and a really nice thing and motivation to play all these different planets. But yeah, I don't know, man. Okay, so I guess we go. Don't want to stay too long here. And we do already have more than enough again. So let's go. And let us read, I guess, the description of the planet for a sec there. I won't finish the part off yet, like usual. But instead, just let us read the planet descriptions. I guess I have to turn in quota first. Yeah, must finalize contract. So we do put in quota first. Which should be kind of like this. Yeah. Okay, so put in quota here. Let's see. What do we have here? Planet that with vast oceans and bioluminescent life form, Portcola, tropical beach paradise, and a great place to start your adventure. A port located on a bioluminescent biome containing curious life forms and man-eating plants. Like, Port Lumen is such an interesting planet. Like, it could be the origin for the lurker roots, which are spread everywhere by sketchy or stuff, and the facilities and the contamination breach and stuff, and also the poisonous gas could be a thing for the contamination in the security 2 areas because they breached or stuff. And then Treasure Island and Old Pirate Bay had to be cursed by evil spirits. Okay, but especially this one feels also like a theme park thing, right? It feels staged, so fitting for this kind of being a game, but yeah, I don't know. I really, really don't know. Hot desert planet with volcanic regions. Port Ragnar, for example. A volcanic landing port with extremely high temperatures, conditions, and rivers of flowing lava. I knew from development streams that it should feel like the Star Wars fabric where all these druids are produced. And it feels like it. It feels like it so much. Halo did such a good job to environmentally do everything like this, but why are there druids produced which also are running around and stuff? Why? Because they are dangerous life forms? Why are they more dangerous than the man-eating plants? Where there aren't any druids around? So there are so many different questions. Site located on a rocky dune, known for a sandy tremor. This one, I think, is... I can't see why there is a... I can't see why there are these facilities, like they studied the pyramids which are built by some ancient alien civilization or stuff. I see the idea, but where's the telling of the idea, right? Tropical planet, something like here, also port, a high altitude port connecting to stretches of floating islands and wooden bridges. Like these are experimenting facilities on these plant life, right? So I see it environmentally. Why isn't it tied into the story? These whole facilities. Jurassic, an abandoned visiting center research facility for employees and travelers alike. Others called it a feeding ground. So also the experimenting on the dinosaurs and the research facility, like they combined the science of these man-eating plants to collect lurker roots and stuff, or for the dinosaurs to alter them into the Nightwalkers or stuff, I guess, or Subject 6, which clearly is a artificial subject created by these research facilities, right? And I think it's so interesting that this port, Jurassic, is one of I will go and say that we can say here Sketchy Wonderland is an event port. I put that out for now, lore-wise. Same thing for Hollow Manor then. I guess I put that out lore-wise. So we first go over all the lore planets we know, right? I don't know if here is something altered, but Sector 0 at 8 p.m. used to be Subject 6. Subject 6, Subject 6, Subject 6 at 8 a.m. Subject 6 at 8 a.m. Subject 6 here used to be Evil Snowman, but by now there are Subject 6. Here there are these Evil Snowmen, or still, because it was due to the event, and I think these snowmen are put over in the event part because it's not law conform anymore. So Subject 6, right? Subject 6 at 8 a.m. Velociraptors at 8 a.m. This is one of the only planets that have an alternate contamination breach at the night. All of them have Nightwalkers, but only Port Jurassic have Velociraptors instead of Subject 6. So maybe this is the origin of these experiments for the dinosaur-like creatures, like a Subject 6, like a Nightwalker, and even like these dwarves, right? Even like these dwarves are a little bit more dinosaur-y, experimented on. So I really think that instead, for some example, this one is stated as, yeah, it is the apex predator, right? So in the bestiarity there is, where is it? Also, it have Arctic wolves, Port Glacier, but yeah, Subject 6. What does it say? Documentation classified, incredibly fast. We don't know anything about them. This documentation classified is very interesting. Because, for example, the derp has this googly-eyed crab-like creature, blah blah blah. The background is just always there for basically anything. Even for the derp there is some amount of background. A carnivore plant known for its attractive colors and graceful movement. As it waits for prey to approach, it is said this plant was created in a lab at once of Sketchy's many experiments. The reasons are unknown. Give us the reason in the story, please. Documentation classified has been said that those who ask many questions regarding said subject seems to magically disappear. We have all these background thingies. Even the pirate, documentation classified, magically disappear, is more given than just documentation classified. So the Subject 6 and for the Nightwalker, those two have these, for example. And yeah, these dinosaur thingies on the these Tremosaurus on the Saharas, I always thought they might be a earlier state, the natural state on what the Subject 6 are, right? Because they are so similar. So maybe these are the original creatures which are then brought to Jurassic or even mixed with Jurassic things, or I don't know. There's so much potentially or potential for lore entrances and giving us anything, but yeah, I don't know. I really struggle to understand why we don't I completely see anything different now with this it's only a game thing. Like also these, right? These training dummies. Like every game lobby in, for example, a Minecraft PvP thing or a shooter where you have, I don't know, always you do have things like this, but yeah, it could be practicing for a game. Likewise, it could be practicing for missions. And why can't it be that these are target dummies for practicing for real missions? Why do it have to be a game? I really don't know. Why couldn't we just be some lore-wise, some kind of bounty hunter? Why couldn't it be something like this? Okay, yeah. Enough for this talk, I guess. Sorry that I get a little bit sidetracked there. We will see how the story went out, but I think I finish off for today here. So, see you next time. Ciao, ciao.